Hi, welcome to Epic FM. I'm Paul. This is going to be chaos. Brett's been drinking at the cricket all day. Gav's been giving me abuse for half an hour while I've been setting this up. The agenda's all over the place, but we're going to get through it. Welcome.
Yep,
Hi, guys. How are you doing? I've been on all day. What's been going on?
I've been watching your little shorts you've been doing. They're amazing.
You've been watching me shorts?
Your shorts, yeah, on holiday.
Who's been sending you pictures of my
Sounds
shorts?
a bit dodgy already.
It does, yeah.
Mate, what do you reckon of them little shorts? You like them?
Yeah, I like them, yeah. Really good
A
format.
bit too revealing for my liking.
Too revealing.
80s shorts, nice.
Oh, thanks.
It's like watching a little Linford Christie.
And I always...
What? Oh my god, this is
Oh,
gonna
he's
be
gone
chaos.
pink. Oh, wait a second. I think it's sunburn.
Right, listen. This is live.
I know.
I had a nice little time. It was
good,
a right good laugh. You had some news as well, right? Guppies is back.
Yeah,
York
yeah.
Club
So
is alive and kicking.
Yeah, playing at our club that we've not played at since COVID. So yeah, the first games night down there was really good.
How was Neil?
Bless him. Yeah, so for reference, Neil's the guy that owns the building that we play in, and Neil's got to be close to 90. Like, it's his house as well, so he sort of flops around in his dressing gown and his slippers and everything. Yeah,
You go to that club and you're basically also like joining the scouts or the cadets at the same time.
Yeah.
Because he has queuing up to me. No, he's a legend.
He's a lovely guy.
He's a wonderful man. So the York Club's back alive and kicking then. You've got people turning up. You've got a nice little community rocking now.
Yeah. So we've got some people return to the game and some new people as well. So it's really nice to have going. So yeah, games happening again Monday night this week coming.
Nice. And how have you been doing, Brett, other than drinking all day at cricket?
I've been drinking all day.
You've just been shouting at me and Gav for about 20
Well, that's because you were harassing me because I needed to get home to start the cast on time. I get home and then I end up being the first one ready.
What?
No,
I've been sat here drinking for hours.
But you weren't ready.
I was ready.
Okay.
He hadn't set me up. That's all.
Lies. Today we're going to talk about the Walsall event, bit of a debrief from the Walsall event. Then we have a topic that Brett's going to throw in there that I didn't quite catch because I was doing about 1,000 things. And we're going to chat about the Storm Legion releases, right? We're going to talk a little bit about the Cygnar.
Yeah, definitely.
The Cygnar stuff. What do you reckon of the event then? So it was a Walsall event. It was 2 days. The Saturday was a steamroller. Interesting format, wasn't it, Brett? There was kind of rolling steamrollers going through the day. Kicked one off at 9.
Yeah, I think they tried to set that up for a bit more of a relaxed start, didn't they? They seemed to have a couple of steamrollers sort of kick off at 9 or a little after 9. Then they had sort of some other events kicking off at 11, so coinciding with the end of round 1. So I think the people that maybe lost round 1 in the steamrollers dropped out, didn't they, and jumped into the other little events.
Into the next one, yeah.
I think they ran another steamroller. They had a little caster draft and things going on. So there was a bit of something for everyone throughout the day. And when we left, so we left at what, like 8:30, 9 maybe? There was still
something like that.
There was still a good crowd playing games, wasn't there? So
nice.
They seemed to be set and pretty comfortable for the full day. So that was good. And it's a nice venue they've got down there.
It is, yeah. It's my first time Asgard games.
Brett, I think you should sit up a bit, by the way, because I can just see your neck onwards, and it's you've got a nice neck onwards, but I'm worried about your point. There we go. That's much more official. Thank you, sir.
He's normally got such a good posture.
It's because he's had about 20 pints now.
That's what it is.
He's come on screaming and shouting at us.
Yeah, first time at Asgard games for me. It's a really great place. It's like it's right in the city centre, but it's like a sort of semi-industrial unit. Really tall ceilings, like a shop at the front, some card tables. There's a nice bar and cafe, really nice food as well, and a decent space for gaming as well. So talking to the people that were running it as well, they reckon they're going to be putting a mezzanine into the venue as well, to a bit more gaming space.
Oh, really?
So that sounds exciting, yeah.
It's a great venue. I think they've done absolutely amazing with it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, really good food. Good food.
So there was a Saturday that was steamrollers, which we'll chat about, and then that rolled into the Sunday, where how many teams competing? 8 teams. 8 teams across the UK. Oh, Brett, what are you doing there? What's Brett doing? Oh, you're just moving your camera.
Rather than sitting
I thought you
up,
were just like
in the screen.
Thing is, right, if you looked away and looked back, it looked like you're pulling a Mooney or something. That's pretty bad. Yeah.
Imagine. So there was.
Gav's getting the cheap shots already because he knows what's coming.
I know what's coming.
I know.
Self-defense mechanism. That's what this is.
Yeah,
Bless
yeah.
you.
Preemptive strikes aren't going to work, Gav. The truth's out there already.
It's gonna get spicy. So there's Saturday steamrollers, Sunday team event, 8 teams, 3 rounds. What do we reckon of the event? What are people's general thoughts about the event?
Well, I think my first observation is it was just an outstanding opportunity for us to get the gang back together in terms of just getting people that haven't played games together.
Yeah.
In a room, getting some good banter, catching up with people. We managed to go for dinner after the event. So the event was almost a sideshow to the main piece that was just getting 5 of us back together and playing some games and chatting robots and beasts.
Yeah, it was great to see
really
Jim
nice.
on it. It was lovely to have Jim back.
Yeah, so it was the 3 of us, obviously, Jamie and Jim as well. So yeah, it was. I say it was really nice to get the gang back together. It's been a long time.
And team events are just the best for doing that. Like I love tournaments, but nothing beats a team event. I think team events are just such a good laugh. I always preferred them way more to standard.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Because I get carried by my teammates.
They're just so much fun.
I think it was nice for us as well to almost go full circle. Like it was just really nice to have Jamie as captain.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like just so. as a sort of a nice, I don't know, rite of passage. I don't, you know, whatever you want to call that. But you know, when Jamie first came to the club as a university student.
Yeah, he was a university student.
Well, I think Russia had just recruited him as a
No.
No, okay, I'm not allowed to say. Okay, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
I
met him in a shop, didn't I? We were joking about it at the event because I literally was in Travelling Man in York, just looking at Warmachine models, and then this kid was in there looking at models. I was like, "Hey, you play Warmachine?" He was like, I'm thinking about it, and I was like, "Mate, come to Guppies," and he was like, "What's Guppies?" So it's a club where there's people in Warmachine.
So this kid you talked to, you were really friendly to him, yeah?
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this?
I'm not going anywhere. We'll come back to that later.
Yeah, we will come back to that subject, won't we, Gavin?
Yeah, we will.
Thank you very much.
I mean, it's good that you established he was a child, Paul, before engaging him in conversation.
Yeah, it's important.
He was at university. He was not a child.
No, he was. The thing about Jamie.
Nice.
Jamie was mature from the age of like 10. Do you know what I mean? He's always been like that, officer type behaviour.
Absolutely.
Even from a kid. Quite remarkable. Sorry, Brett, go on, mate.
No, I'm just saying it was really nice to just have him lead the team, wasn't it? In terms of us introducing him to the game all those years ago. I'm sure at the previous team event, I might misquote him ever so slightly.
No, do it.
But he was talking about playing sort of myself and Andy Garrard. He was saying, "Oh, it was like playing his parents." Cheeky git.
Which one's mum?
What the?
But so you know, just that cycle of players coming through and remaining in the hobby and then contributing back to that team dynamic and sort of social group dynamic was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's nice, like I say, teaching him the game, and now he's loads better than I am, so it's great.
Gav, why are you doing? Gav, hang on. I know you're going to get a hard time shortly. There's some issues. There are some issues we need to discuss, particularly around your behaviour towards young people. But why are you being so negative about yourself? You're a killer. How many? You lost one game.
Yeah, I'm a killer. I only lost that game because Jamie threw me under the bus. By the way, just so you know.
Wasn't that the game? No, wasn't that the game where it was just me and you left staring at 2 lists, and I was like, "Can you take this one, please?"
Neither of us were happy.
Yeah, you were like, "Okay." I lost that round as well, didn't I? So, maybe I didn't.
I think no, you won the last one. That was good. Yeah,
either way. Yeah. So it was good. The atmosphere was great, wasn't it? It was nice and chill vibe, but people.
It was
to win.
like super
nice
laid back,
balance.
really nice gaming environment. It was like say chill vibes. It was really pleasant environment to be playing.
Yeah, the guys that ran it Brett, you can shout out the names because you know them all really well.
Chris Dakar.
Chris was great. Well, they were all great, but Chris in particular is an absolute gent. Really well run. The food's amazing as well. If you ever go to an event there, you actually get like proper cooked, decent food. Yeah, not like one of the
restaurant quality food, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah, it's really excellent.
Decent staff, food brought to your table, drinks brought. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. So you didn't have to go up and collect your food. So they got a list of everyone's names, They basically went to the TO with the name, and the TO basically pointed out where you were, and they brought the food to you.
Yeah,
that was really, really nice. I like that.
Pseudo table service, wasn't it?
It was really
it's
good.
a great
Yeah.
model. What do you guys think of that as sort of like because I know team events aren't everybody's cup of tea, but what do you think to that as kind of a setup of having that Saturday steamrollers, just turn up, socialise, jump in like 3 steamrollers, hang around on the evening, and then Sunday into the like team event? What do you think to that as a setup? Because you think about the ET. I know obviously only 8 teams. You can do 3 rounds, but what do you think to that as kind of a format going forward? Because I guess they'd value that kind of feedback.
Yeah, I really liked it. So that's something I would travel for, certainly. A bit of variety, isn't it, over the weekends? You're not just grinding out 7 games over 2 days.
I think when we think back to sort of SmogCon days and attending the conventions, the one thing we made sure we were always free and available for was the 3-man team event that they ran on one of the days. Yeah. We'd have our little steamroller qualifiers or hardcore qualifiers or whatever it was, but then we would drop everything to then play in the 3-man team tournament.
Yeah.
Because the team tournament was just where it was the most relaxed. It was still very serious when you were actually playing the games, but the banter and the jokes and conversation between not only your team but between teams was always outstanding. So I really like a multi-format weekend. I think it has the opportunity to appeal to everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I think people like the idea of a little bit of a reset button as well on an event that they've started, lost a round. I'll just jump in another.
Yeah.
Rather than like, I wanted to win that. I've got to do like multiple. I wanted to place well. I've got like more rounds. I think people always quite like that style. Having said that, though, nothing beats like the old ETCs, the European Team Championships, 2 days. I still and the ETC obviously, WTC. I still find that like the pinnacle of the event. Like you and a bunch of people that have like worked on lists for months and refined your lists and thought about the matchups and all travel together. Nothing beats that kind of like 2-day marathon of games because it just gives you so much to chat about, doesn't it? Because I don't know about you guys, but I love breaking. Me and you used to do this for hours, didn't we, mate? Just sat in a car, breaking down all the games, breaking down all the lists. How did that go? How did this go? What do you think of that? And whenever we did WTCs or ETCs, we'd then break down the list selection. Maybe we should have dropped that person. But there's just so much to sink your teeth into, and I think that's what a lot of us love about the game, isn't it? It's that getting into the detail.
The team events bring another game to the game, don't they?
Yeah.
That whole pre-game game goes on. I mean, I don't get involved in that. I literally went to the toilet every time. I think came back to find out what I was playing.
That's not true. You were like treading on the toes and stuff. No, you were. No, he was.
I think I was just chatting with the other team mostly.
No. I saw you a few times purposely.
Right, yeah.
Catch the toes and go, sorry, did I? Something. This is sorry.
Running interference. Is that what I was doing?
Yeah. I think it's nice though, isn't it? Because it gives you the opportunity to access the different layers that exist within the game. And so, if I'm a more casual, relaxed player that's just there, I'm making up the team numbers, I'll trust my captain to make a good decision. I won't worry about the matrix and the scoring system and whether I've got a good or bad. I'll play the game in front of me. But then equally, if you're into it, trying to predict what they're going to drop, what we're going to drop, what do they think is a good matchup, what do we think is a good matchup. You get to the end of the 5-team allocation, and you're like, we think we've got 3 good ones. And then your opponents say, we think we've got 4 good ones. You're like, what? No, hang on a minute.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Something's got.
How's that possible?
Yeah.
So just that, I really like that dynamic and the narrative that creates about how people perceive the game and how they perceive a particular matchup is favourable or unfavourable. What they're trying to generate from the matchups, etc. It adds a layer of complexity that if you're into that sort of thing, you can really embrace. And if you're not bothered about it, you can just sort of let it wash over you and just play the game that's in front of you.
Or just flip a coin. Yeah. So what I really liked as well is what they changed the format from what I've previously done at team events, is where they had the teams that basically lost the pick effectively choose the table. So each table for each round as well had a different scenario. Each table within your round had a different scenario on it. So five different tables, 5 different scenarios. So it was really, really impactful as well. So I really like that format. That was really good. And as a TO, That's such an easy way of doing it. So you've got your terrain.
No logistics between rounds.
No moving.
No moving terrain because a flag's
no
appeared
moving,
or a zone's appeared.
Zones, it's really good. So it made it obviously much slicker as well, and it gave that real extra dynamic as well to the table decisions. You also choose a scenario as well as the terrain. So.
I think in some ways it actually had the capacity to make the matchups much more even.
Yes.
So even if you didn't pick the matchup, so in theory you've probably come out of that worse. They didn't want to play the other person that went down with you, but you still get to pick a table or a scenario. So they've picked what they perceive to be a favourable matchup, but you can compensate for that ever so slightly by them picking a scenario that you want to play or a table with particular scenery that you want to play on. So I think the end result is that it gets you to a point where the matchups are more even,
more balanced. Yeah,
everyone's got a chance in their game. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure people necessarily felt they were being bussed because you'd still got that get out of jail card free with the scenario and the table picking.
Well, you can still play it as a team. So you quite often went down early, and then you would speak into the rest of us saying, right, what scenario do you want? What scenario don't you want?
Yeah.
So you could influence what's left by your choice as well. So that was really cool. I like that.
And there was some factions, they wanted a more terrain heavy or terrain impactful board.
Yeah.
And then there was other factions that were looking for something a little more open, or even down to where's cover on the board, where's the LOS blockers on the board.
Yep.
As a circle player, I was obviously looking where's the forests on the board. Is there a more centrally orientated forest that then I can play in and around that will advantage me? So as soon as you can pick tables, it's hugely impactful on the game. Hugely impactful.
Especially with that wormwood list. If you can get a forest in the middle of the table, like that must improve that wormwood list by like 5, 10, 15%. Do you know what I mean? In terms of it being able to control and dominate the board.
And I think that's what I mean about. So when your opponent picks to play, me with my lists, then the perception is, or the expectation is, that they pick that because they think that's their best matchup.
Yeah.
So at face value, I'm maybe a negative matchup, aren't I? But if I can then pick table and pick scenario, it brings it back up to that level that you think, all right, I'm back in this game. There's a chance I can play this game. You've got the list matchup you wanted.
Yeah.
But is that still a good matchup on the table and scenario that I've picked?
Yeah. So because also so with Paul and I, when we were the last players in that last round, obviously we got to choose who our opponent was going to be from a choice of two. But obviously they then chose the table. So I think it like.
Is that why you lost? I thought you were teeing up an excuse there. But you weren't. You were.
There's loads of excuses I could try. But yeah, so I think that's really, really cool. Like say at the end, so you've got that choice to choose your opponent, but then like you say, that's then gets evened up by the terrain and the scenario. So yeah, really nice format. I'm just trying to work out how in a steamroller event you could do something along the lines of the scenario, and I'm not sure if you could do that.
I think your problem in a steamroller is you run the risk because of random table generator.
Yeah.
I could just run the risk of playing the same scenario.
Same table. Oh, yeah.
Throughout the tournament. I mean, I know that's unlikely.
It does happen, especially if you use tiebreak in certain formats.
Yeah, but it could happen, and I think people definitely build their lists with scenario in mind. Or if they don't build them with scenario in mind, their list definitely favors certain scenarios.
Yeah.
There's faster scoring and slower scoring scenarios. There's wider and more concentrated scenarios. And your list will definitely play into some of those better than others. So you could have the nightmare situation where you just play 4 rounds on scenarios that you don't like for your lists, or conversely, you get the dream, don't you, and play 4 rounds on tables that are just built for your lists.
Yep. They've
got terrain in all the right places. And then it becomes a negative experience for your opponents as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'll just from a TO's perspective, it's just how you can make your rounds a bit more efficient, a bit quicker. Speaking of which, you guys don't know this, but I found out today my shifts, so I can actually calculate my life now for the rest of the year. So I'll be working with you guys. We'll be chatting to the stable side team as well, and the York Weekender, Warmachine Weekender. We'll be getting some dates put together for that.
You heard it here
I feel
first,
like
it's coming back.
Paul, have you got some special effects? I want like fireworks and
I'm messing around with these lights though.
Oh,
like
look at that lights!
Oh, yeah,
flashy lights. Nice.
My skin tone keeps changing.
Oh, that's good.
All sorts is going on.
Is it peeling? Is that what it is?
No, it's not peeling. No.
Right.
I've done two. I was burnt the other day, but I think I swung it back around. You know.
Yeah.
One last point
before
we move off this.
Hang on, so the Weekender's coming back. That's big news. Weekender's coming back.
Weekender's coming back.
Weekender.
It's coming back. So yeah, I'll be talking to the venue, get some dates. I will get some dates, and I'll get them published. Yeah. So
Thursday.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Exciting times.
So Jan, Thursday. What do you mean Thursday? As in, you want the event to be on Thursday?
It's not going to be a Thursday. I'm sorry, I won't get many people there.
Oh, are you saying that's when you want the event to start? Thursday in the week? I don't know. Explain what you mean, sir.
Well, so previously it would start like midday on a Friday.
Oh, I see.
And maybe once on a Thursday. Oh, Christ, I mean,
I tell you what, no, but you can't start it. But you could go hang out at Gav's house. You won't care.
Sure.
So
I literally got a tent up in my garden right now.
I'll put his address in chat. You can just turn up. He's super relaxed.
In fact, if you get there Thursday early, you might get a game in before the actual event starts Friday.
Yeah. Doubt it. It won't be finished.
Particularly if you ask him to play on clock.
Wow. More on that later.
More on that just to follow. So how should we break down how we're not going to do that thing where people go, right, so round one, turn one, I did this, and then at the end of my turn I passed the clock, and then we're not doing that. We're not going into
we're not going to do that. So I think
we're not going into detail.
We're not doing that.
No, we're going to talk.
As if you want to do that.
For the people that can't see,
Brett's
just
throwing
loads of paper over his shoulder.
Hilarious.
What we should do is we should just talk about some of the fun stuff, cool stuff that happened during the games and things we've learned.
We should go on about me doing quite well.
Why don't we jump in straight at round 2 and ignore round 1? Let's do that.
No, let's talk about the Saturday.
Saturday. Ignore the fact that Paul won an event. Let's do that.
I did win an event. Yeah, I did win an event actually. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
No, I was quite happy with the whole weekend. Really, I thought it was quite. Quite pleased with my list. Quite pleased how games went. Nice to be dropping Lily 4 onto people and the old Vale one. I thought it was great. I was pleased. I was slightly disappointed with the second round that we had on the team day. I felt like we lost 3, didn't we? You two won. Brett and Gav won.
Literally just. But we can come to that. I mean, talk about your day one a little bit.
Oh, day one was great. Yeah, I won the first steamroller, so I was like super happy with that.
Yep.
Played some. Gav, you've got a list of all the people that I played actually, haven't you? Do you want to read them out?
Not on day one, I haven't.
Oh shit! I can't remember.
Day one, you have to remember.
Well, luckily you might have to remember the names.
No, Brett knows who I played.
You played Zylvanus. You played.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy.
Dean.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, he's nice.
I played a really nice guy from Liverpool. He's playing at Liverpool that just started up again.
Oh, and then you played Omar.
Omar. Omar's a beast. Omar was like, oh yeah, I've just started playing again. Like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. And then Omar knew what he was doing. Omar, I thought maybe if he's not played for a while, it'd be nice. I've not played for ages either. And no, Omar knew.
He'd done a classic rope-a-dope, hadn't he? He turned up with just like plastic models, basically.
Yeah.
Not a single coat of paint anywhere. Like giving off the full impression of I don't know what I'm doing. First event, new guy.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
Turns out Fury management was spot on. Knew all the complex rules in the rule book. Started doing like throws with deviation. Like
he was pulling shapes. He was pulling absolute shapes. But he was a mint guy. They're all really good games actually. The second game is on Walsall Warmasters stream. They recorded it, playing against Fiora 3. So if people want to watch that, it was quite a good close game. But I was happy with that. It was a good. I won all my games. Won a little steamroller trophy. which I was happy with. And then me and Brett went to TGI Fridays and ate way too much food. And I caused a drama, didn't I, Brett? Because I said that you had an intolerance when you actually don't. And then a manager had to come over and we got, it was all got a little bit technical. But yeah, it was.
We just wanted to eat. We didn't want interviewing.
No, they got a bit upset with themselves. But I was happy with that. I mean, we won't get into the mega detail of it, but it was just nice to get the list on the table. Gave me a lot to think about with regards to my list buildings. One of the lists we sort of threw together, didn't we, Brett? We were playing the other week, and the other one was a bit more of a classic Vale. But nothing beats just getting a couple of lists to an event and just hammering out loads of games. It's given me loads to reflect on, and I've started making a few adjustments and changes and stuff. But
so I'm one of them same lists on the day one as day two.
Yeah, I just played the same. I played the same one on both days, but yeah, it was good. I've one general reflection. Again, we won't go into it in too much detail, but like, I've noticed that I feel like people's clock play is not a clock play. It's not as tight as it was when I played before. I feel like a lot of games that I would play, both players were acutely aware of the clock and were playing the clock against each other and really making sure that they didn't get behind on the clock and recognizing that as like a really important and common win condition through either forcing a mistake on the opponent or simply clocking your opponent off the board. So I felt like, I don't know if that's like just a one-off, or Brett, you've got any kind of thoughts on that, but I felt like there were a few games I played where people seemed very relaxed about the clock, whether they were just confident they were going to win on assassination maybe, or pushing scenario, but it felt like clocks were, I don't know, people were just a bit more relaxed.
It's perhaps just a habit thing, I think, Paul.
Rusty.
Yeah, during the pandemic, whether people were playing games or just playing more relaxed games on War Table without clock or relaxed timings. Yeah. Coming back to the club, playing off clock because you're just trying to get back into the swing of moving models around and rolling dice.
Yeah.
And so, in some ways, it's probably a reflection of just the more relaxed atmosphere in and around the event scene and calendar, I think, the moment. Yeah. People are just a bit more chilled. So I don't know if they're chilled about winning, though. Management, Paul, but I'll make an observation that pause is hit a lot more often.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I did notice people doing that at the end of the rounds through the
like pause to ask a question, pause to clarify something, but I think nicely the judges and TOs are being accommodating of that.
Yeah.
Like I think you'd sooner pause the clock and actually have a conversation about how something works, or check the rule book, or okay, we can't work it out, bring over a judge, but that all adds to that more relaxed vibe about the game, doesn't it?
Oh,
I think.
Definitely. Yeah. I think so. I know that PP they went through a phase of, because a lot of their events, big events, are at conventions, aren't they? So they're really tight on time, especially in America. But so they have like a round time as well. So the games will end after a certain amount of time, just to make sure it all fits in and the schedule works. And I get that. But when you're in a steamroller, you're the only event in the building. It is easier to go, right, guys, if you've got any problems, pause your clocks, come over, when we can resolve it. And that is, for me as a TO, is the best way of doing it, because they're not got anybody massively upset because they've been duped by somebody, or they're not happy with how a rule's been resolved between the players.
Yeah, fair. Well, that's interesting. I just thought I'd put it out there as like a general reflection and thought, because I noticed in a lot of my games I was getting ahead on clock. And I was thinking in my head, oh, this is great. I just, as long as I just don't do anything stupid, I probably clock them. But what about you guys? What are your general kind of reflections, thoughts, how you did, without going into mega detail?
I mean, do you want to talk about your day one at all?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Brett. Saturday. You enjoy your Saturday?
Yeah, he's not interested in me. Look, I didn't win anything. Saturday was real nice. So I played Ryan Wilmot, the Lions captain, played Ewan, who's on the Roses team, then played Martin and his Cricks. So day one for me was perfect. You saw, if I could have picked reps into stuff that I wanted reps into, I nailed it in terms of the factions and the lists that I wanted to play into. Really nice, chilled games. in terms of the game state, the interactions. Probably the most interesting was Ewan. We had a circle mirror match. I got to play the Chromac 1 mirror again.
Oh, that sounds great.
I don't actually mind the circle mirror.
Chromac though. That's
and weirdly, I don't mind the Chromac mirror either.
What's wrong with you?
I know it sounds miserable, doesn't it?
Because but it's whoever gets the best bestial presence surely wins that, is it not?
I think probably why I like it is because it becomes all about positioning.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, you both threat exactly the same, and whoever gives up a warpath trigger runs the risk of just losing the game.
Yeah.
Because you get a warpath trigger and you warpath a beast into threat range that kills something, which warpaths another beast into threat range that kills something, and so it has the opportunity to cascade away from you, or to cascade towards you as well. So it's
you like those sort of games.
And I think that's probably why I like it. It sounds visual, but I think because it's all about the positioning, the movements, the interactions on the board without actually rolling dice. Like a game where I don't have to roll dice, I'm ecstatic with.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, you rolling dice is bad. Your luck is horrendous. Your dice rolling is
pretty bad.
I feel like we upset you there.
No.
You took a second and like gazed off into the distance.
He was thinking back to Monday where he was rolling triple ones.
Did you do a couple of triple ones?
He was rolling some triple ones on Monday. Yeah.
So that was a super interesting game. I played. Martin played his Krix Karchev into me, and I got a picture of the game states. So I played Wormwood into it, and I'd obviously feated. And then I took a picture at the end of Martin's turn after feat, and there was just this perfect semicircle all the way around the edge of Wood's feet. but it was just mechanothralls, for as far as the eye could see. But it just left this perfect circular imprint that was just exactly sort of 10 inches away from Wormwood. So there was lots of really nice.
Oh, we lost Brett.
We've lost Brett. That's not a flattering pose either.
Look at it. This happened to Brett last time. When he paused, we were like, "Oh Lord." I'll get bottom right. Let me get rid of him. Bless him.
Is it?
Oh, bless him. You know what's going to happen now though, because of that. Because Brett's going to leave, and me and you, Gav, are going to get jumbled around all over the place. So apologies to people while we work that out. But what about this? Brett will be back.
Well, obviously Brett was just talking about his day one. Sorry. So no spoilers. Brett didn't win anything.
No, but he gave it a good share. Some good games. He enjoyed himself.
So we went into day two. Oh, he is good.
There we go. Now I've just got the top of your head.
Brilliant.
It's all right. I can move you up. Can I do that? Yeah, I can. Go on.
Yeah. So
you should see how this looks. It looks so funny.
Oh, I can't.
I'm just gonna leave it like. I'm actually just gonna leave it like that.
All I can see is my lounge with the green curtain behind myself. That's all I can see.
Someone's joined the chat and said, "Hey, Facebook said I could win stuff. Anything good?" I was gonna. Oh, it goes back.
You get the chance to win seeing Brett looking like an absolute.
Yeah. I was actually going to do a competition for some Cygnar. Look, we will do a competition for some Cygnar. Here you go.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Brett's back. Let me just reveal Brett again. There we go. You're back. So, Brett, while you were gone, don't worry, mate. You didn't miss anything other than us using the interlude. Here we go. This is a prize. You can win a Cygnar battle group. Okay?
Ooh.
Look at this. Still sealed, because we're going to talk about Cygnar. I don't know how much it's worth, but it's decent little pieces, that.
Probably priceless at the moment. Out of production, aren't they?
Yeah, you can't get all
this is out of... Oh, maybe should we actually give this away then? Is it worth going?
No,
I'm joking.
Give it away. Give it
away. All you got to do is comment in the chat as to what you think the best competition would be to give this away, which I thought was an interesting twist on a competition.
Nice. No, I like that.
No, I just thought that was different.
Good.
I thought that was different. If you tell us, how you think someone should win a prize through commenting or talking in the chat, then we'll pick the best one and you'll win this Cygnar battle group.
Sounds reasonable.
So just comment. You can comment on here. A painting competition. You know, I mean, I was hoping for something maybe a little bit more out there, but you know, it's a solid. KG Johnny, that's a solid attempt. You haven't mentioned it in the chat, and I copy it down, or you mention it in the comments, and then next week we'll look at everyone's suggestions, and we will decide. What do you mean, KG Johnny? Jesus, come on, be a bit more inventive.
Yeah.
Can that be a painting competition for the hosts of the casts? I genuinely suggested earlier today that Gav.
What? Us have a painting competition between each of us?
I suggested Gav add a shade to one of his models.
Not happening.
I'm getting shit in the chat.
I got a flat no, and I said it'd improve it so much. And then he said, well, I'd have to go and buy some shades.
I'd have to buy the shades,
didn't even have any washers.
Oh, I do have washes. I've got none oil. That's it. I got a black wash.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need is none oil.
Yeah, one wash does all.
Right, Johnny's not happy with my competition. I think that's a great competition idea. What's a good competition idea to win the competition?
I can think of a few.
Yeah. I think that's cool. All right, fine. Just comment saying.
Don't upset our one listener.
No, we've got some right. Oh, predict the score taunt result. That's a nice one. No, I'm sticking with it, Johnny. I think it's a good idea. Tell us the best way to win a prize, and you could win a prize. Brett, you were talking about your first day, but we're going to go into the second day. How did we do? What are our key takeaways from that second day of events, Brett?
Where are we starting? Are we talking through our games and stuff? Well, sorry, our rounds?
No, we're absolutely not going into.
Just do some highlights. Do some highlights. So just talk about how we played and like.
Well, I'll do some highlights. Round 1, we played Team Inverted.
We did.
They're a really good set of lads.
Nice.
What a great set of lads.
He's gonna go in on you.
Just let me find my notes.
I'm just going to the toilet.
I can sense him just getting ready to.
So I got to play Dom Wooding in round 1. I actually played Dom at the Welsh as well. So we had a little rematch and a revisit.
Nice. So you got history. That's good.
Dom is playing Circle, so it was another Circle mirror. He told me no one else on his team wanted to play Circle, so that's why we ended up in the mirror. Because normally you're fairly safe to avoid the mirror in a team event because no one wants to play it.
The mirror, yeah.
So he was clearly overruled in terms of playing that. And we had an identical caster matchup to the Welsh. So Dom had brought Boulder 1 to play against me. I played Chromac into him. His list had changed ever slightly from the Welsh. But again, we had a really super cool game. Like went down to maybe turn 5 or 6, I think, perhaps. I killed. You'll appreciate this. I killed 2 heavy war beasts under Balder 1's feet.
That's quite impressive.
I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
you take that.
And then so I bigged up myself. I'll big up Dom now. Dom then pulled out some super janky stuff. He'd got a Wild Argus that did its Animus on Getrix, followed by a Dunian Archon that dispelled Inviolable Resolve and Spiny Growth, followed by what was it? I don't know whether it was a white main or whether it was the character unit, but then some Tharn Ravagers just blew Getrix off the board. So it was a really nice tit-for-tat game.
Dom's good, isn't he? Dom is solid.
Yeah, super solid.
Dom's another one. When I just first came back to the game a few months ago, he was the first guy I played at a little event in London. He was like, mate, just come back. Yeah, super really rusty. Right, turn 1, bang, your go. I'm like, Jesus. Right. I was like, you played this list a few times? Oh, yeah, he's plays all the time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a lovely guy. Really.
Yeah, really nice guy. Really good game. Yeah, awesome.
Gav, what can you just send me a link to the place where all the lists were so I can get them up and share them on the screen, or remind me of the website? What was it called?
It's Conflict Chamber.
Conflict
Chamber. I've got it up straight away. I'll share this so people can see. Just a quick interlude. I think someone's won the competition already. Tap staff, listen to this. The competition to come up with an either dafting ranking system, the one with dog 2 tails and that. I mean, that I'm telling you now. That is gonna. I'm telling you now, that is gonna take some beating. That's the sort of thing we're looking for, KG Johnny. That's the level that we're operating on here. That's what we want to see.
I like that.
See, some people take the piss out of that ranking system, whereas other people go and get it trademarked.
Brett, that ranking system.
So
is
the people
worst.
taking the piss out of it are currently winning the tournament. Just the competition. Just saying.
So Brett, you played Domirius. That's his list. Chromac, Boulder. That's what he played. Real good lad. I played Ewan.
Yep.
So Gav would give me a hard time earlier, pretending that like I don't remember the people's names that I play. I've literally never forgotten the name of anyone I've ever played.
You got it written down in front
You
of you.
got me to name your 3 opponents from day 1.
Yeah, I've got a really short-term memory, haven't I?
Yeah.
I didn't play them, and yet I remembered.
You're a man of the community. I'm busy.
Man,
No, to be fair,
he's a robot. That's what it is.
But just to pause for a second, the difference between me and you two is I have a job. You're never impressed with that. Look how unimpressed you both are. One of you strikes and the other one's studying. So I don't count as it. Right, anyway. I'm joking. You both work very hard. So I'm actually upset you both there, aren't I?
I make very hard work of it.
I'm actually upset
good luck remembering the rest of your opponents, Paul.
Oh, no, don't be like that. Johnny, I'm not reading that out. Orient's comment, they're gonna give me such a hard time. Right.
Well, then, so what did Leon play, Paul, into you?
Ewan, he played Heretic. I played Lilith, thinking this could be all right. Dropping Lilith in, but it felt like a good matchup. Felt like a right matchup. But the Cage Ragers do have the spend a
Arcane Vortex.
Ignore a spell. Arcane Vortex.
Sorry, I'm not helping you anymore. I'll retract that.
No, listen, Brett. There's no need to start playing that game.
I mean, the only reason I know these things is because I don't have a job.
No, it didn't say you didn't. No.
Well, literally spends all day just researching.
Yeah, it's a joke. Brett, I'm only joking. You both work very hard. Well, Gav's on strike, but Brett
just carry on.
So the Cage Ragers are actually all right because they can negate mortality, which I sort of focused my fire a little bit wonky and didn't quite allocate it where I probably should have done. But it was a really good game. He's really good player. Very tight. Went to clock. I won on clock in the end. But it was really good. Really good game. Really clear. Lots of good interactions. I enjoyed that game a lot with Ewan.
Whenever you tell me you've won on clock, I always go back to visions of WTC Poland, ski resort WTC, and you in must have been like round 3 or 4, literally with your hand hovered over the clock. You were head on scenario, but you've got like 30 seconds left on your clock or something, and literally the guy tapped the clock and you were just like, boop.
Well, I had to activate everything because with this came up in
like,
the game,
everything
didn't
activates
it?
nothing. Your turn.
I had to do meaningful activations, which ironically, Brett, it's ironic you bring it up because that's how that game ended up with you and won it, Gav. Because you came over and did Gav did one of those things he does where he comes up and he tells you exactly what the rule is. Literally, he comes up and your knowledge of the rules, Gav, is so good. You were like, I'll literally tell you word for word what the rule is, but what I say doesn't count. You've got to go get a judge,
event.
And I'm like, but you've literally
he's playing a teammate, so I can't call a judge call it. So obviously we've got a TO to decide that.
You have to do all meaningful activations before you pass the clock back. Anyway,
It's changed, hasn't it? Between the WTC story I'm telling you, I don't think the 30-second meaningful turn even existed at that point.
No, so some of those events got a little bit
more of a modern thing.
Sketchy towards the end of a lot of games, didn't they?
Yeah. So it just like.
Yeah. It's probably why they brought it in because it did used to get a bit silly, didn't it?
Probably to stop you doing that.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Well,
I think it was because of you, actually.
Now I'll do it the other way and just have people with that problem. Who played Gabriel? That was Jamie Cook Rogers. Yeah.
No, that was me.
No, that was Gav.
That was me.
Oh, tell us about Gabriel, Gav. Oh, Brett, do you want to?
So round 1, I got drawn up against Gabriel Davies, who is the son of Ewan Davies that you played. Yeah.
Oh,
which I didn't realise at the time.
So you played the father, Paul?
I played the father, yeah.
All right.
So
How old would you say the father was, Paul?
Listen.
Don't offend anybody. No offence here.
Well, like a standard father age, I reckon.
A standard father age? It's a good shout.
Generic dad.
I'm not I've insulted enough people without me trying to guess someone's age. Like, Jesus, don't give me that. What do you think?
Wow.
Standard father age. Good. It's a good show.
Yes.
Yeah. It was definitely, definitely.
So anyway,
nice.
so I got against Gabe. So came to the table. It looks a little bit nervous. So I was trying to sort of put him at ease, just chatting about how long you've been playing the game for. He says, I've been playing sort of since January.
Put him at ease. Put him at ease. How long have you been playing the game? I've been playing since March.
Yeah, do you know what he said? Do you know this happened? I forgot. This is an actual interaction. Gav went, I've been playing for 15 years now, since one of the, and he just went, and this didn't affect Gav's approach to playing him, but he went, oh, that's basically as long as I've been alive. And because I was setting the camera up to record, and I was like, Jesus.
Wow.
God, that makes me feel old, and I'm not. Gav's, in fact, we're about the same age, actually, with Gav, which does surprise a lot of people, but
it would surprise me. So that's what hard life does to you.
Well, I don't know who we're trolling here, though, because
each other. So spoilers. I played against Gabe, and he was turns out he was 16. He's been playing since January, and so when we sat down, he's talking. He says, "Oh yeah,
January, Gav."
This January, not very long.
January, all right.
Not very long. So he said,
probably as a 16-year-old,
I've not played much.
All he's done since January is probably play Warmachine, isn't he? I mean, he's got nothing else going on in his life.
He said, I've not played much.
No other important events.
I've been doing some exams. I thought, all right, he's been doing some exams. Maybe he's doing his degree. So yeah,
for a 15-year-old. It's not Sheldon Cooper.
He didn't look 16. He didn't look 16. Okay. So he didn't look 16.
No, he didn't look 16. He looked like 17.
Anyway, so really nice lad. So try and put him at ease, because he'd never really sort of played Scorn before either. So talking through all my stuff that he did, he's like, "Do you want to talk through mine?" So we talked through some of his stuff. Obviously, it was Butcher 3 with a load of jacks. So it was pretty blunt instrument.
This is list A. I've got it up.
So he obviously just ran it forward towards me, and then I'd positioned Morgul quite advanced. And basically allowed Morgul basically to walk forwards after I'd got Mortality and Hermit onto Butcher, and basically Butcher died on turn 2. So
classic Gav assassination.
It was pretty awful. So I felt even worse, obviously, than when I realised that he was 16 after the game, and that was his dad that you were playing. So I had to even then go and apologise to his dad.
Yeah, you did a right weird thing as well, where you came up and
said, "Did he say I'm going to tell my dad?"
No, do you know what he actually did? So I was playing this guy, nice game, and then Gav came up and went, and this is basically what he said, kind of word for word. He was like, "Excuse me, sir, I must inform you that your son has currently been filmed. We have some video footage of him as his consenting parent. We would like to ask for the verbal agreement to be able to use and share." I'm like, bloody hell, it's not like. It's just
no.
So you can only see his hands. Do you know what I mean?
We'd recorded the game.
What have you been doing?
We'd recorded
just recording his hands moving models.
And he's a minor. He's a minor, so obviously you had to get parental consent. So that was good.
To see, can we see your son?
Was he clothed, Gav, or did you do something
worse?
No,
I did turn him around and give him a spanking, so that's bad.
No, this is live.
Bad. Yeah.
Live.
So such a nice lad. So we had a chat afterwards about what he could have done better. There was just some positioning he could have done better, but I just felt really bad.
Yeah, so you should. So you should.
I felt so bad.
So yeah, you gave him a good game.
I think it's probably important that Gabrielle and you know that we have relentlessly trolled Gavin since this occurrence.
I have had an absolute relentless trolling, yes. But there's so much so that when I was walking around, obviously you have to finish on turn 2. That I got a trolling from literally everybody that I spoke to at the event as well, so that was great. Yeah.
Well, you made your bed, Gav. You've got to lay in it.
Right, next so Leon and Ross played.
Just so you know, literally the last few casts all we've talked about is how I assassinate people with Mogul 2, right? So if he'd have listened to the podcasts, we are child friendly. He might have known.
He's so unremorseful.
He might have known. So top tip. Listen to epicfm.
Listen to epicfm and just know that Gav always shouts.
Well, there's 2 more people never listening again.
Yeah, so I chat with his dad, Paul's opponent, and he's obviously a super nice chap as well. So it was absolutely fine. In fact, he actually said, "Well, he won't do that again, will he?"
That'll teach him.
Can't believe we let Morgul 2 assassinate him. So, yeah.
Brutal dad.
It was brutal dad lesson. Yeah.
I can't believe that basically for the past few months, Paul's been telling me to not be as nice when I play. And what we now need to do is to tell you to be nicer, Gav.
So
yeah,
I've done a lot. I've had a lot of reflection.
Like you've had a personality transplant.
I've had a lot of reflection after that game, and I've actually changed my list to be less assassination based.
Why have you done that?
Yeah.
I'm just worried about mosquitoes. You guys are going to have to carry the cast for a second.
Well, stop turning your light on and off.
No, I need to
You're
pull the thing
drawing
down.
them in.
Close your window.
Guys, you've got to carry the cast in my absence.
We are anyway. It's fine.
Get lost.
So you've reflected on your list.
I've reflected on my list, and it's less assassination based now. Yeah, just because I realised that I've never ever played for assassination. It's not something I've ever done in the past.
Shut up.
And the only reason I went into it is because I thought it was really fun.
Hang on,
and I was conscious of clock.
None of this is true.
It is true.
We never played on scenario, so how are you hoping to win a game?
I just
Boring
lost.
them today.
I just lost.
So how are you hoping to win this game? Just really losing.
Do you know what?
Is the only option. You love
Just by having a nice time. When I win, I've had a nice time, right? It doesn't matter, who's won how many scenario points or clocked or whatever. That's all that matters.
I think to go off on a minor tangent, and I guess we may well cover this in a later cast, but your reflection on your list and how it plays, but that not suiting how you want to play the game or what it is that you get satisfaction from. I actually think that is one of the real beauties of the game. There's not a right or wrong way to build a list.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
If the three of us all put together a Morgul list, we'd come up with something different.
Yep.
And that's because Paul wants to somehow win on death clock with like 30 seconds left on each clock. So he builds like a real attrition based, like grindy, like miserable, just
miserable
experience.
You're selling it. You're really selling
it. I'd build something that's all about positioning and placement and scenario.
Have you heard this,
and then Gav would build something to win top of two. But that's not to say that any of us are right or wrong. That's just a reflection of how you want to play the game.
I think
Paul's right. All right, Paul.
No, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, but you've made me and Gav to be absolute troglodytes there, and you'd be some kind of wizard with your perfect placements.
I'm happy with that. Fine.
Well, someone did say, didn't they, the other day, oh, I really like listening to your podcast. Like, Brett's sort of like the brains of all the ideas, and then like Paul and Gav, you two just sort of like give each other shit. I'm like, okay, thanks.
That's what it's like in real life, basically.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. So yeah,
that's Brett. An insightful listener, whoever that is.
Was it you?
Actually, no, it was just something Brett said.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Come on, we'll be outside. So then we played England Bulldogs. We don't have to talk about this same. Who do we play after that? I'm joking.
You played Barry.
I played Barry. I lost to Barry. In my defence, it was the only game I lost all weekend. I didn't know what it did. That's not really in my defence. That's more just for my ego, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, I had a great game against Barry. Really good player. Knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I had not played against, but it was this Horgle 2 like bazooka list.
Yeah.
And Barry had some lively scatters that were like killing raptors.
He did say at the end of the game
he was just like
some serious scatters going on.
Yeah, I put the raptors in like a pretty defensive position. I took first turn with Lilith, like fairly defensive positioning. Having not played it, asked loads of questions about threat ranges and tried to just keep everything out. So the only thing that could get me was scatters. I think I lost like 3 raptors to blast damage. Or 2 raptors died outright, and then the others got like absolutely battered, like 2 or 3 points on each.
And that was just hot rolling rather than anything special.
It was like dice off 5.
Was it just good scatters as well, though?
Like it was all scatters. It was all scatters that were just getting into the lines, and then dice off 5. Well,
if you can't be good, be lucky.
2 of them died. He rolled a 12 and an 11. 2 of them just blew up. It's like, okay.
Barry's actually really good.
No, he's great.
I know Barry's really good.
Yeah, no, but Barry knows what he's doing. So yeah, game got really tight, got really attrition-y. It's quite hard to assassinate Horgle when he's got a fire troll. In fact, it's
Is it hard to assassinate him because he's immune to fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
his battle group.
Yeah, but in that list, I know I have 2 Ravagors, but then I've still got like a bolt thrower.
Well, that's your melee beasts, aren't they?
They're the melee beasts when it gets nice late in the game when it gets close. So yeah, because Dean fought a similar thing when I played Dean on the Saturday. He was like, I've got Azrael, which is fire immune, which Azrael was just having the game of his life, like just killing everything. But I still got Lilith and a bolt thrower and Raptors. And Striders can do work with some combines. Anyway, it was a really good game. It was good to see that list on the table because I feel like Golly was saying to me after that build you see a lot just with different casters. So it's not always hot. Sometimes it's Gumbion. Is it Gumbion?
Yeah.
So
the Barrage team are a real strong choice for the Trolls at the moment. Yeah. Good range. They've got a few nice key support solos that just really buff them up. Bit of eyeless sight, those sorts of things. To just, those little tech pieces that really tune units up. Yeah. So they've been a really good newer release for Trolls.
Yeah, it was good, but it was the only game I lost over 2 days. But I actually would have be happy with losing any number of other games to just win that game, and as to get through. Because I was a bit gutted. I was just a bit gutted, wasn't I? Because it was just nice.
Don't take it to heart, mate. It's fine.
Well, no, I wasn't the only one that lost. Like Jim and Jamie lost as well, but. That is the downside to team events, innit? If you lose and you're just playing solo, you're like, yeah, whatever. Whereas there is that like, shit, we just needed one of us to win. It is a bit. It can be a bit great.
Unfortunately, other people on the cast did win, Paul.
Oh.
Yeah, but not enough. All right, here he comes again.
What I was about to say is, fortunately, if you've got good teammates, they keep you buoyant after you lost.
Yeah, rather than just grinding you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
say. Dom, who did Dom play?
Dom played me.
Oh, Dom played you, Brett. Did he play Colgrim?
I think he was well happy about that.
Ragnar. Who did you play?
Well, that was another one. That was like no one wanted to play Circle, so I took them. I actually, since the event, I've spoken to Jacob, the captain, about the matchup process and what they had as sort of favourable, unfavourable, who they were sort of seeking out in the matchup process. So Dom was neither happy nor unhappy with my matchup. He just got it as a sort of a 50-50. So Dom's a great guy. I love playing Dom. We've played quite a bit sort of since coming out of lockdown in tournaments and just casually. Like the games are always like it's just. You're guaranteed a really nice, clean, no-issue game with Dom.
Well, Dom's ace. He's been playing for ages, hasn't he? I remember him
I played him at Welsh.
A year ago.
I played him at Welsh, last round at Welsh. So, yeah, really super clean. Really good fun opponent as well. Just laughing all the times. It's just a good fun game.
So we had a really good... Well, I had a really good game. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Dom... I'm not sure Dom
Which list did he play?
Game.
He played Colgrim did he play Colgrim or Ragnar?
He played Ragnar.
I've just got the list up, that's all.
But I think top of 2.
Oh, that's the thinker.
That's Brett. I thought,
maybe top of 2.
That was really funny.
You paused for a bit then, Brett.
Yeah, it froze, but it froze with you like this.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was just thinking.
Well, maybe it didn't froze.
It was a long pause.
It wasn't a pause. I think top of 2, I killed his Pyre Troll, which was sort of important because it was the only ranged output in the list, and it was hovering near a beast scoring zone. But more importantly, my Walled Weirds killed his Axa that was hiding behind a building.
Wow.
But it had got Bracer on it.
What's that again? +2 arm can't be moved.
So it gets +2 armor on it, but importantly, it gives me Purgation.
Yeah.
So I get the additional dice on attack and damage rolls.
Yeah. So
my Walled Weird shot his Axa off the board, and so as soon as he lost his Axa, he lost that ability to match me with threat rangers.
Yeah.
So quite quickly the game sort of ran away from him, and I think we had I got a scenario win, maybe turn 3 or 4. We finished fairly early,
right?
To the point where we had a 30-minute conversation about the hobby in general and getting people back into the game, and then walked up and down the tables, and we were still the only people to have finished.
Yeah. I saw you pacing around.
Yeah. But the round itself was obviously super tight because Dom and I were just chatting about the matchups, and he walked the length of the tables and came back and he said, "Oh, I think you're up in 3 and we're up in 1." And very quickly that sort of flicked on its head. in terms of
my game
final
against Barry were
result.
looking all right. Then he had a blast damage turn of doom, and I was like,
well, and he came back and he said, he thought Paul had got his game. Clock was close on Gav's game. I think Jamie was down. He'd lost the Mountain King, I think, somewhat unexpectedly. So we had a great game, and then we had sort of an hour and a half of sort of chat, banter, watching the other games go down. So yeah, we had a relaxed round.
So ironically,
well, lucky you.
Ironically, I went from the first round of finishing on turn 2 to the second round going to turn 7. Each of us with literally seconds left on the clock, and that was an absolute smashing game. So that
was against our boy Nathan Hull.
Nathan Hull,
Nathan.
absolute man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, he's
playing Chrissa. I've got his list up on the screen again.
Yeah. So Legion playing Chrissa. So I dropped Mogul 2, of course. Now
Nathan used to be the host of the second best podcast in the UK, didn't he?
Second best. They
was it
called
second best?
I think it was second best. I think that's what he told me.
Was it?
Yeah. That was their intro.
Him and Padge, yeah. So obviously, I've known Nathan for years and years. Used to come to Vatmansack years ago as well. So the one day is there.
Used to troll us on his podcast. I distinctly remember when I first got into the game, listening to his podcast, and him and Padge ripping into us.
Yeah. So super nice opponent.
Lovely guy.
Really tight game. So I used a bit of advice that Brett had given me, because I still felt horrifically guilty from having assassinated somebody turn 2 of the game before. So I decided to try and play this one a little bit more.
What, against Nathan? Get out of it. What, you went easy on Nathan?
I didn't go easy on him. No, that's not how that worked.
Beating a child.
No. So he knew, obviously, having listened, because he listens to the podcast. He knew. He listened to the podcast. So he's like, so how far does Mogul threaten? So obviously I said, well, it depends on what happens. So I'll talk you through all the different things. And he's like, right, okay, that's a bit crazy. So she went and sat in the far, as I looked at the table, the far right-hand corner of the table, outside the kill box, was effectively out of the game. It was so far, she was so far out, she didn't have control to most of her beasts trying to get to my stuff. So he had this decision to make. It's like, shall I bring her into the game and therefore still keep my beasts in control?
I feel like he's working under captain's orders, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very clearly,
do not.
Jacob has said, do not get assassinated.
So on turn 2, even with that, on turn 2, I had a 50-50. I needed to roll a 7 on 2 dice, basically, to get her. And because the game before, I was like, no, I'm not going for it. So we decided to switch to attrition. It was just a massive grind over scenario, and eventually I managed to win in the end, just on the CP. And on the
Gav's game was an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah, you won that. I forgot.
As I walked past the first time, I walked past, and obviously Gav's got 2 huge bases in his list. He's got the Mammoth and the Hydra that are on these giant garden rocks, so you can't fail to see them. I walked past to pop to the bar and get a drink or something, and I glanced over the table, and there was Gav had got no huge base on the board. I'm like, oh god, well that game's an absolute disaster. What's happened there is Carissa's obviously alpha striked, and 2 huge bases dead. Yeah. Went and got a drink, came back. Suddenly one had reappeared on the board. I'm like, oh, where's that gone? Well, maybe it's not that bad. So, went to the toilet, came back, then the other one had reappeared again. I'm like, oh well, he's winning.
Because they're so big, and I haven't attached them to the bases. They quite often play them off the base, so I can move the base around and then put the model back on. That's why that happens. It's a bit of a joke. They teleport around the table. That's quite good. So that list isn't built for attrition very well. So trying to play
your list or Nathan's?
Mine.
Your list. Yeah.
So playing against something that can hit you really far and really hard with 2 huge bases, and trying to place attrition was quite tough. So but it was a really good game, and super tight.
And then Jacob played Jim, and Graham played Jamie, and both lost. Jacob beat. Both Jamie and Jim lost those games.
Yep. So obviously that's our losing round. So then the next round we go
Boom.
Play Mammoth round 3.
So Gav, who did you play?
So I played into Grimkin. So I played to Matt Harris with his Grimkin and his Child and Dreamer. So this is ironically this is the list that we talked about on the event pre
semi-detached.
The semi-detached list, yeah. So props to Matt.
He prefers Party House.
Nah.
I know he likes.
Yeah, he said this. I was like, nah. Semi-detached.
Semi-detached, definitely.
Party house.
I feel as though having invented the list, he should be able to name it rather than just have it hijacked off him.
Well, not if you come up with a bad name.
The Party House semi-detached list.
All right.
He's converted one of his slaughterhouses, not slaughterhouses, into is it the Menite?
The Menite
structure, but he's got some tentacles coming out of it, and he's like posed loads of little gremlins all over it. It looks really, really cool. So it's a beautiful model. So yeah. So but before we went to the event, we all did this little spreadsheet, and I had Grimkin as a void. So I ended up getting paired into a Grimkin.
I don't know that happened, Gav.
I do. I do. So I got thrown into the bus with that one. I was like,
can't remember how that happened.
Really, really, really bad. So anyway, we got to the table, we did lists, and he chose Child, and I said, "Really surprised you've chosen Child." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "I thought you'd take Dreamer." He says, "Oh, I don't think it's as good." I said, "No, you've got Baron Tongluk in that one. He's got Parley. It's just completely stops Morgul." He said, "Oh yeah, so it does." But he turns out he had
smashed with this one anyway.
He had a few cheeky little things in this list anyway. So yeah, I put Morgul in a massively aggressive position, and I tried to bait him one of his houses into coming onto Morgul, which he took. He took the bait, but I forgot he'd got the objective that gives Isle of Sight. So he was able to position the house with the lantern drag. So Morgul's at def 17, the celebrity on him, and so he's about 5, I think. So I needed a boosted 12. Now the most important model in that game was the Grave Ghoul, I can't remember his name, the one that
Grave Ghoul.
Grave Ghoul. Yeah. So kills his own stuff and then ends up with 4 rerolls. I was like, oh, this is bad. So obviously he tries to boost the 12, misses, rerolls, gets the 12. So Morgul gets dragged in, but now because he's got Isle of Sight, he's dragging from much further away. So the second house can also get on Morgul.
Oh, that sounds bad.
So that's bad. So now Morgul stood in front of 2 houses looking at them. So he takes an absolute pounding with them. We've got abuse on them, so like power strength 23. And the Animus is -2 defense. 14. I think it's 14, yeah.
Dice plus
bad times.
9.
Dice plus 9. Dice plus 9. It's nice, a good time. So the Mammoth died to all his transfers. Pretty bad. Mammoth dies to transfers. Morgul takes a few bits of damage as well. And then I have a decision to make. Well, this is not good. I need to go for an assassination. So he's got the Arcana that is it Ruin? Stops mortality. Stops the spell, yeah. So Marketh comes up, puts mortality onto one of the houses I need to kill, ruins it off. I was like, well, that's my assassination. Because I need the rest of the list basically to kill that one to allow Morgul to get to his caster. So that was bad times. So, I mean, Morgul couldn't even Flash and Blade, so he stood in front of these 2 big houses. Can't Flash and Blade because the Child's got this spell that stops you casting within 5 inches.
Discord,
thank you. That's nice. Not Discordia, Discord. Yeah, it stops so many things. So yeah, he had definitely some solid answers. So Morgul basically stood there, just thought, I'll just take this for another turn, it'll be fine.
Bless you. Didn't happen.
Yeah, smashed for another house and then dinged up the other one, and then the house then had to go at Morgul again. So Morgul took 3 activations of houses on him. Didn't. But I'd used the Taskmaster to put tough on Morgul. Not Taskmaster, sorry, on a Mortar Thurge, Willbreaker. So Willbreaker toughed Morgul, and Morgul's got no knockdown, so he's toughing out the attacks on that. And the best thing ever, what happens at the end, is the pumpkin men. They come up and one of them comes into the back of him and just sticks him in a bag and runs off. That's it. Just
nice.
Knocks Morgul out, throws him in a bag and just runs off. So yeah, that's how that game finished. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah.
Nice.
Imagine that guy as a pumpkin.
Yeah.
He's going to take some names.
Yeah, he's a cheeky pumpkin. He is. So yeah, smashing game, smashing opponent. But yeah, I massively fluffed up on that one.
Unlucky, mate. Well, you didn't want that matchup anyway. It was my fault. I forced you to have it so I could play quick.
How did you end up with that matchup, Gav?
By being too kind. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really want to play that. I've just played Grimkin and like.
A combination of guilt and penance for the earlier child.
Possibly, yeah.
Brett, who did you play?
I played Chris Ferguson, who'd got his Convergence.
Who did he play, Lucan or?
He played Lucant.
There we go.
So he played Lucant. Chris is again really great guy. We had a huge conversation after our game just about developing or redeveloping our local meta, and with sharing ideas about how to do that effectively on the ground. I think they sounded as though they're on a sort of not only a really similar thought train as we are in York, but a similar trajectory with ideas and where they're at with their ideas. I think Chris identified that there may be a month or 2 months behind some of the conversations we're having, but they're certainly following the same path that we've gone down in terms of how do we get new players into the game? How do we get returning players to come back? Once we've got them back, how do we play games? So we had the whole conversation about, playing on 3D terrain rather than 2D terrain just to make it look nicer, and writing bespoke lists for returning players to just aesthetically look really, really good on the board, as opposed to necessarily be great to play with. And so we had a really good conversation post game. The game itself was really nice. Those negation angels, they're a bit worrisome. I like those guys.
Yeah, they're tasty.
I could see myself playing those if I was playing Convergence. They tick all my boxes for.
What is this? I don't know what you're talking. What's a negation angel do? Because I feel like that's a new thing.
So highly mobile. So they've got flight. They've got a gun and a weapon with Shadowbind. So they've got a real nice control feature to how they play. Really, really high defense, so problematic to remove. And then they're followed around by an Enigma Foundry that collects the souls. So if you kill a couple, it's only a 3-man unit, but if you kill a couple, it collects the souls and then it just brings them back.
Yeah.
So you've got a recursion element to this really, really powerful board control manipulation piece.
Yeah, nice.
So basically, you put them on the table, and they were target priority number 1. And I think I tagged. I maybe got 3 of them with a Hellmouth turn 2. So that was pretty nice, because that RFP
as well, yeah.
So that was, but I went all in to sort of get the Hellmouth, because obviously it's a 4-cost spell, and I've only got 7 Fury at that point, so it was sort of a higher risk play, but I felt necessary. And then we had that very classic he who feats first loses scenario with our feats. So Lucan's got sort of a time lock feat because of the armor buff. Wormwood's got a time lock feat because you can't see anything. And unfortunately, Chris blinked first, so hit the big feat button. And nothing happened for a turn. I hit my feet button. Nothing happened for a turn. But then that obviously put me on the front foot in terms of, once the feats were out of the way, I was the first person activating post feat in terms of seeing that game home. But again, like, super nice guy. Like all the guys from over there, over that neck of the woods, like really, really tight community. Really, really friendly guys. All play the game in the manner it's supposed to be played. I can't say enough nice things about those guys.
No, they're a great bunch of guys.
Yeah, a real nice bunch.
It's always an interesting dynamic, isn't it, when you get 2 defensive feats? Because it does play out like that. It just becomes like a don't draw first, like don't shoot first. The first person to drop that defensive feat. You're like, okay, I'll now do mine, and then I'll hit you. Like,
it's about trying to work out how you force that as well.
Is understanding what you can give up without feating.
Yeah.
It's almost, here's quite a few of my pieces. Like, you might see that as, take those pieces and feat as being a good play.
Yeah.
But I might see that as I've drawn your feet out, so then I can play from there. So the leverage in that game is definitely about how much can I give you to trigger your feet.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting game. I think those games are always super interesting. And cool. Like I say, Chris is a top guy.
I played Josh, who again, real nice chap. I thought he was going to play Denegra. So I didn't drop Lilith and instead dropped Veil, but then he took Scar-Free. So I was like, oh, kind of wish I'd have played Lilith. But it was interesting game. He knew what he was doing. He pushed the flank really hard. I put a lot of my stuff in the middle and was kind of playing for a downtown assassination because attrition was going to be a little bit ropey, and managed to get. It was like a classic Veil assassination, if I'm honest. It was pure classic Veil, clear a few pieces, get Slipstream out. Like there was like 5 pieces that I had to move really precisely to clear a lane for Typhon to go in on a charge at Scar with all the fun stuff up within like insight range. And yeah, I think Scar was camping like 4 or 5, but it was just too. I think I had an Angel still to go in. It was just too much because Scar's fairly tanky, isn't she? She's a huge base, so she has a little. She has a little.
It's really hard for her to hide though.
Yeah, she had a little bit of tank on her, but it was in insight range. Typhon was charging for free, and I think he was Wraithbane as well. She might have had like a defensive buff on her. But yeah, it was good. It was a good game. Enjoyed it a lot. Nice to play Veil actually after playing so much Lilith. Good to get some Veil time in. Because I think I'm a bit like you, Brett. Sometimes I do like playing grindy attritional games, but I've always enjoyed the like positioning of Veil, and there's a real satisfaction, isn't there, with Veil in like going in, killing a few pieces, and then feeding out and just getting the placements nice and tight, setting things up so that they're in Dark Sentinel range, that sort of thing. So I've had way less games with Veil.
You can have turns with Veil, can't you, that are just perfect. You get like a leash, you get a charging angel, you get a repulsion, you get Typhon in a really nice Dark Sentinel position, you've got cat and mouse. You can have that perfect turn with a Veil list. That at which point you're satisfied to leave the game. Like, win or lose now, I've lived the dream with Veil in this game. I can shake your hand and say thank you very much. And I'll walk away from the table still very satisfied. Yeah, she's a really, really nice caster to play.
And I was really enjoying the like angels with Veil. There's people like going in on angels, saying angels and Ravagors and stuff aren't very good, but whatever. The sidestep, the fact that you can now sidestep off every hit and save your armor piercing for whenever you want is amazing.
Yeah,
that's a great. Like you can threat because before with an angel it was like fine, that one charge or that star attack. It was a star attack, wasn't it? Armor piercing. But the fact that you can sidestep all over the place, and leash, and slipstream, and with insight just means if you can get that angel on
full
the key
steam
piece,
off the Mechanic Shredder.
Full steam, so charging for free. And
have you got eye switches in that list as well?
I ain't got eye switches in it. No.
But so you can potentially have a puppet master on the AP attack, and you can tune that right up to an 11 now.
Yeah, it's quite cheeky, but no, it was a great game. Really nice lad. And I
think Chris is a little bit like Dom Wooding that I played in round 1. I think everyone who's listening, don't let them convince you that they don't know what they're doing, because
I've had enough people saying this.
Doing. Yeah. I've not played Chris yet, but I've watched bits of his games, and he'll tell you that he's a new player and that he used to play Guild Ball. And that's all very well, Chris, but I've seen enough to know that you definitely know what you're doing. You're not kidding anyone with your I'm a new player anymore.
I think it might just be the new. I keep saying it, but I feel like there's some truth in it. Maybe it's just a new thing you do. You get a table and go, mate. Listen, 2 years I've been out of the game. Well, yeah, it's COVID, mate. You know what I mean?
We all have.
Yeah, no, I'm really rusty. Really rusty. Yeah, literally not played in the past couple of years. 95 games on War Table though. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, in the last week.
Yeah. So we ended up going 2-1. We had a really fun time. Lions won. Congratulations to Lions. Really looking forward to watching.
It was really interesting how the final standing was, wasn't it? Because it was the England first team, the England second team, then the England third team, and then us in fourth place. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that how it panned out.
Yeah, it's good.
Where was the Welsh team, Gav? Did you notice?
So seventh.
Oh, don't start.
Seventh, right? Yeah.
Don't try.
I wasn't going to mention that, but you clearly want to.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I'd hate to be mean to mine.
Never be
It'd
mean to
pummel
mine.
me for a start.
Let me turn that bit off. So should we go through just for time because we're on 120 already? So Brett,
okay.
I'm gonna not
wrap up on credits.
Well, I just wanted.
There's a couple little things we wanted to talk about.
I just wanted to quickly show this. I think this is interesting. The Storm Legion. Major Anson Wolf and Captain Madison Calder. You seen this stuff, Brett? You have a look at this?
I had a brief look, yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, we won't go through every single bit of it, but general reflection at quite cool that PP have got some stuff going. Gav, you listened to the Primecast, didn't you?
Yeah, I listened to the new Primecast that they've had.
What jumped out for you listening to Matt Wilson talk about?
It was really nice, yeah, just listening to Matt coming on and talking, about what's going on. So it's him sort of acknowledging that people have been murmuring on the internet and on social media about what's happening with PP, why is nothing coming out. So obviously he's definitely acknowledging that that's happening. So he was talking about the R&D that they're doing. They've been doing some research and design into how warmachine is produced. So he basically summed up saying that metal's too expensive. It's not really an option anymore. The actual raw materials just make it prohibitively too expensive. And then he was saying the problem with plastics is that they're produced overseas specifically before, and that all the issues they've had with that. So to do with.
So what's their answer then?
So well, he didn't give a specific answer.
Plasticine.
So yeah.
basically, they give you a plasticine and a guide as to what it should look like. They're like, just make it yourself.
What he said was, we'll just accept any conversion that people do from GW models. That's exactly what he said. No, he definitely didn't say that. He definitely. That was not said. So he said that they're looking.
That is going to be the take-home message from the podcast. That's what's going to be on the internet tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Oh, imagine.
So, I've got it written down here.
Child killer.
Do you want to hear what he said?
Child killer.
Do you want to hear what he said?
Well,
yeah, I mean, only if
he
you
said
only
we
if
can
you
play
make it
GW
interesting.
models in Warmachine.
Yeah.
I said that. He didn't say that. Right.
Well, that's not what you said.
I don't always tell the truth, Brett. It's fine. Right. So
That's
he
what
said
she said.
they're looking into.
Guys, we're live.
I know we are.
Brett's
a bit more lively than others.
Brett's a bit of a loose
Right,
cannon this evening.
Calm down. Right.
That's
So
fine.
they're looking into internal manufacturing, so that they're not to hamper the supply issues. I mean, you can read from that what you will. I mean, they're looking into internal supply to not hamper their supply issues. So they said no to metal, and they're not keen on external plastic. So whether that means they're bringing plastic in-house, or whether they're going to sort of a more resin, I have no idea. I mean, maybe. I mean, this is a crazy idea. Maybe they're going to go to a whole, format where you download a file and print it off yourself. I mean, that would be pretty mental. I mean, if you look at obviously all those Storm Legion models that you've seen, they're obviously all 3D CAD'd, aren't they? All those models. Maybe you just buy the file for each one and just print it off. So
are we going to start distributing that as a rumour? That's interesting.
That's not a rumour, mate. It's just me guessing. I mean, you could start as a rumour if you wanted to.
I might start that as a rumour right now.
You like that rumour, do you?
I think that's what they're going to do.
I don't think they'll like that as a rumour. So I don't know. I don't know. So no to metal and no to overseas plastic. So and they're bringing it in house, the production.
How are they going to produce these things then? They've got Major Anson Wolf coming, Captain Madison Calder. What's that going to be?
On metal versus plastic as models?
Oh, crikey.
No.
We're going long already.
I'm asking the question.
we're going long already. I like both of them, to be honest. I love the feel. I like a weighty model, as you know. I put rocks on mine.
Yeah, you put rocks on them. You're a
I put
lunatic.
rocks on mine. I like a weighty model. I like to be able to, if it comes to it, I can throw a model at my opponent. Yeah.
Look, you are such a country. You're such a lovely guy to play, and then that aggressive, violent side comes out. You want to throw a rock at
Model in a
someone's
sock.
head.
There you go. That's it.
Model in a sock.
Yeah.
They'll
So
put the old bronze back.
bronze back in a sock. Yeah. So yeah, metal bronze back.
Bronze
great
back
example.
wasn't enough. That's why he's added a rock.
Added a rock. Yeah. So metal bronze back, great example. Such a lovely model. It's got a nice feel to it. But then when I'm painting a model and it's weighing a lot.
Your arm gets tired.
It gets tired, and I don't want to put that glaze on because my arm can't quite hold the model up long enough.
I can't imagine it takes you that long to paint that model.
It does. It would take longer if I put the glaze on. So
Right, listen. I agree with Crixie, and metal is rubbish. It is rubbish.
No, it's not. It's
No,
not.
it's right.
Metal is
it's
rubbish.
just no one wants to mess around metal. Who wants to glue the fingers together? Have you seen me try and do a metal
I built
model?
a GW kit the other day, and so it was very nice.
Oh, I love building GW.
But when I was on piece 32 of one model, I was bored.
Yeah, but you don't like that. So you see, I really like that.
I like building.
So the Hydra is actually the same sort of plastic that GW uses. The polystyrene cement.
How many pieces?
A lot. And I loved it. I loved building it. And so I know a lot of Storm players hate building that thing, but I built two. It's great fun.
Build second one just for a laugh.
If anyone wants a Hydra building, I'll do it for you. There you go. That's a prize. It might come back on a rock. Just postage may be a bit extreme.
So my preference for metal is tainted by the fact that PP metal models come in two pieces.
You just don't like assembling models. That's the thing.
I just don't like assembling models.
The NIS hunters, they're metal. They're not easy to build.
Yeah, I'm never assembling that unit. But Brett used to pay people to put them together. You used to get that John guy to build your stuff. You'd be like, "Here, mate, give you a tenner."
I get my models pro built.
Pro built. Imagine.
Some people going for pro painting. That's fine. I'll pay someone just to build my models.
So I love building models, so that's fine.
Well, there you go, Gav. Get a side hustle while you're on the strike.
What I don't like is cheap plastic that has got really bad mold lines that I can't easily remove. So it requires like a craft knife that I've got to scrape the mold lines off. Yeah. So with metal, it's so easy, just file it off. And, it's easily done. You're not going to damage the model in any way that way. So that's just my...
Yeah, but then I always stick my fingers together. It does my head in. I scrum off a bloody brush.
It's because they're not suitable for children.
Oh, haha. Well, you know a lot about children, don't you? Right. Glitchy.
I have to. Yep.
It's on a definite downward spiral.
I've just docked the chat box now. I'll stop that. Right. Interesting comments.
So you prefer metal? What do you prefer, Paul? Sorry, metal or plastic?
He prefers plastic to me.
Plastic.
But
plastic. No, but privateerpress is plastic, isn't? You have to use super glue. You do realise that, right?
Yeah.
It's like a horrible plastic.
Yeah. No, I like her. Glitchy Bitch says a Journey Woman Warcaster they showed up a couple of weeks ago is Siege's daughter.
Yeah, I heard that.
Captain
awesome.
Madison Calder.
No, not that one. That's
not
Siege's daughter.
Oh, right. Sorry, it's the Journey Woman. I was going to say they've got
not the one they spoiled the other day.
Different second names.
Yeah.
We'll just look at these really quick and maybe pick up on it on another cast. But the Major Anselm Wolf he gives possesses both the Blood Quenched and Sidestep special rule. His feat, Give 'em Hell, states that when one or more friendly faction models are destroyed by an enemy attack while in Wolf's control area, immediately after the attack has been resolved, one model in Wolf's battle group currently in its control area can advance 2 inches and make a basic rally attack. Seems all right.
Yep.
I like that.
No,
it's not terrible because you can advance out.
So in a game of positioning, where a game can be won and lost in positioning, that's a really strong ability.
Lots of movement. Yeah. So
I feel like it sounds like, doesn't it, Virus 2's feat?
Yeah, I thought exactly.
Apart from the fact that Virus 2 never really uses that aspect of his feat because he just brings robots.
It's got no models. Yeah.
But in a faction that's probably more combined arms orientated, I could see that being really nice.
Well, wait till you hear the rest of his spell list. So.
Well, his positive charge spell states that a friendly faction warjack gains +2 to melee attack and melee damage rolls. Additionally, while within 3 inches of the effective warjack, friendly faction models gain +2 on melee attack and melee damage rolls. Has that always been positive charge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's an awesome spell. Like, amazing. I want that spell in Hordes. It's such a good spell.
That's basically Cygnar's damage buff spell.
Yeah.
So beats. Then you've got Captain Madison Golder.
So on the
on
the podcast, they also gave a couple little spoilers on that as well. So they also said that he has Energizer as a spell too.
Oh, right. Nice.
He also has Energizer.
So speed buff and damage buff.
Speed buff.
Looking good so far.
So movement shenanigans to hit and to damage. And
Gav, just remind people of Energizer though, because if you spend a focus, move 2 inches, battle group moves 2 inches. Is it that one?
Yes.
You're not going to say well done for remembering or anything like that. Make me feel a bit better about
sure.
it. Yeah.
Well done. Sorry, Paul.
Well done for remembering.
Well done for remembering, Paul.
Hey, I only just started playing. Captain Madison Calder, Cavalry Warcaster. No shit. It's literally on a horse. Why would you? Why?
I don't know why.
That is the worst spoiler ever. Oh, let's tell you 3 cool things about this model. It's cavalry. Well, I've seen it with my eyes. I know
it might be a battle engine. Maybe because you can't tell scale.
It might be a battle engine. How big do you think it is? Should be
it's a massive horse.
If that was a Trojan horse. Just like some massive ogre. Cavalry Warcaster. Thanks for that, PP. Her Bird's Eye special rule enables models in a battle group to ignore cloud effects, forest terrain, and intervening models when determining LOS.
Super cheeky in Cygnar.
It's pretty cool for Cygnar, right?
Do you think so? This thought crossed my mind with that rule. So obviously that rule has got the potential to be obscene with defenders, hunters, chargers, etc., etc.
All those things, yeah.
But do you think that these casters are going to have some sort of caveat or limitation on them to do with Storm Legion?
Yeah, we talked about this before, didn't we? So especially with some of them, these massive spell buffs, armor buffs that we're talking about. That we were saying that we feel it may be limited to the Storm Legion only, maybe, so that you can't get the journeyman in there, so you can't get maybe like say the defenders or the hunters in there. Maybe that's what it is, but because otherwise some of these combos seem a little bit cheeky.
Her feat grants models in her battle group +3 def, dodge, and riposte. Seems alright again.
Yeah, that's good.
I think.
I mean,
armor buffs, but
dodge and def buff is great, really good.
Stupid question, but dodge you immune to 3 strikes at you from memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Seems good. Exciting Cygnar times, and the Storm Legion models. They're the first set of Cygnar models where I was like, I like them, because the bit that's always put me off Cygnar is the kind of fragility. Like they're all quite little humans. I don't know. It's just like an aesthetics thing. I like chunkies. I like chunky.
They're very different to the standard Cygnar aesthetic. Like
I think there is some aesthetic theme though there, because if you look at Dynamo, you can see there's comparisons to be made.
And Thunderhead, definitely.
Thunderhead comparisons to be made. Even if you look at the Stormblades, compared to these new Storm Legion models, so there's the Storm aspect of the current Cygnar. You can definitely see they've still retained some of that thematic aspect. But compared to like the Arcane Tempest Gunmage aesthetic, it's completely different. Very different. The Trencher aesthetic, completely different. But the Storm aspect is definitely still there for me.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, for those that care about the fluff, it's the whole galvanic thing is something that Nemo started off before he passed away, and then obviously.
Don't spoil it for people.
Oh, sorry, Nemo's dead. So
dead. He's a battle engine.
That's true. Yeah, he's a battle engine. So they took the galvanic research he's done, and then they've recruited some convergence peoples as well after the fall, after the
literally, it's all just. It's so funny. I've played this game for so long, but literally,
you've no idea
what you're talking about.
Clue. Well, some people care about this stuff, Paul.
I'm just like, it's just another language.
Anyway, so they've
the blue
the
guys
steam ballers.
Have made friends with the robot guys.
The robot guys, yeah. Oh, we could do that
with some new lightning stuff.
Yeah. So they've now invented lightning and stuck it in a bottle and stuck it inside jacks, which instead of steam, they're now powered by lightning. There you go.
I'm glad. I'm just
which
literally.
Sounds like an upgrade to me.
It's definitely an upgrade.
So glad I'm not into the fluff. But the models look great. I've just got them up. I'm just showing people the models look cool. Cool. There you go. Cygnar stuff. We went to a team event. Gav beat a child. No, he's not a kid. He was like full. He's like a full-grown adult. He's a really good lad. I'm sure we'll see him.
Have you joined a group or anything, Gav?
Right.
Or been put on a register?
Right. Whoa.
I've adjusted my list. That's all I'm doing. I've adjusted my list. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Through guilt.
It's a safe space, Gav. You can tell us.
It's a safe space.
Have you had a chance to reflect?
I am shutting us down. Right
I've had a lot of reflection. Yeah.
Thanks.
And a lot of trolling. I've had a lot of trolling. Yeah.
I'm gonna shut things down, guys. And Brett, your crunchy topic, I think we'll fire out later in the week.
Perfect.
Thanks everybody that joined us in the Steam chat. Remember, you can win a box of Cygnar stuff, a Cygnar battle group that now apparently you can't get anymore.
All powered by Steam. Yeah. Steam powered stuff.
Oh, Gav, yes, well done. All you have to do is to win the competition is to tell us what would be a good competition to win a prize. There's a I'm telling you now, Tap staff's suggestion is strong. Competition to come up with an even better dafter ranking system, the one with a dog, two tails, and that's the kind of level we're looking for.
Yeah.
Comment on YouTube or tweet at us. It's not hard. Just look at the top. That's all the different ways you can get in touch. Reach out. Thanks for watching, gents. Good to chat to you both.
Yep.
You should go get drunk at cricket more often, Brett, before the show. I like the vibe. I'm going to go to the closing scene. Unlike the start of the show, please don't make any noise and let it end appropriately.
Quiet.
Okay. Thank you for your cooperation. Thanks everyone for watching. Like and subscribe and all that. We appreciate it loads. Thank you.